I just returned from a whirlwind 48-hour trip to Disney World, where I reunited with close to 100 of my former castmates. I worked at a ride called the Great Movie Ride. Anybody hear of it?
Uh-huh.
All right, yeah, it closed in 2017. Sadly, it was the best ride ever. I flew back this morning, and I'm telling you this because, like he said, my life, it's like a film strip last year. Ironically, this attraction that I worked at was all about the magic of the movies, and the story that I'm about to tell you relates because it's very much like a movie that you will never believe could be possible. Now, before I go into all of that, let me tell you about the backstory. My mom and my dad met when they were like 16 or 17. And I used to tease my mom because I got here, total accident, big mistake. I actually went to the prom with my mom, if you know what I mean. So my mom and dad's relationship, they really never had a chance. They were just too young. And I had very strict Italian grandparents that did not think this was a good idea. My parents did marry. They were together a couple of years. But the reality is, I was estranged from my father for most of my adult life, even though we lived just 20 minutes from each other most of my life. I can count on less than one hand how many times I actually saw him as an adult. So that's the context. Here's the next scene. In 2022, at the age of 70, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. When we found this out, we also learned that 4 other women died of ovarian cancer in my Italian side of the family from Italy. We were terrified. The next 18 months would be a very intense battle, the fight of her life and the fight of mine, to try to beat this horrible disease. She was actually rushed to the ER last year. It was just about a year, 2 months ago. She got stuck in the bathtub. She couldn't move her legs. So we knew that she took a turn for the worse, even though we were optimistic at that point she was going to get better. They ended up taking her to the St. Mary's Hospital right here in Hooper, which is not the hospital she ever went to for any of her treatment. I'll never forget when I got there and the oncologist came to meet us, Dr. Sagani, who's a wonderful doctor. I asked him, like, what's going on? What's really happening here? And he was very reluctant to tell me that she would not likely live another 30 days. In the middle of that stay, as if it wasn't stressful enough, a really strange thing happened. I was walking into my mother's room, and in the hallway, I hear somebody say, "Gloria?" And I look, and I recognize this woman, but I couldn't make sense of it. She said, "Is your mom here?" I said, "Yes, she's right here." And I motioned to my mom's room, which was about 5 feet in front of where we were standing. And she looked confused, as was I. And she said, "Your dad is right here." Now imagine my shock. My dad and my mom were not only just in a hospital at the same time, they were in the same hospital at the same time, on the same floor, literally next door to each other with one wall separating their heads. They had not seen each other in 40 years. I certainly hadn't seen my dad in 10 years before that. Now all my friends know I'm a little analytical and I like to measure things, and I'm like, how could this be possible? What are the chances of this? So I go to Google, and I check the AI, and I put in all the metrics, and I'm like, what are the chances of this happening? It's 1 in 3 million that they ended up in the hospital together. So the next couple of days would be even more strange. You know, maybe, I was just trying to figure out how this could be and why. Maybe all this happened because my dad would have a chance to meet my husband. We'd never met in 15 years. Or maybe he had a chance to meet my son we never met in 24 years. The weirdest thing is, maybe it was because my stepmom, that lady I saw in the hallway, literally came into my mom's room, told me and my mom and my aunt how much my dad loved her and that she was his real true love. So none of it makes sense, right? It's crazy. I have way more questions than answers. I cherish the memories, as it was the last time my mom and dad would ever be in the same place. My mom died just 30 days after that. And my dad died 9 months after that, just in February of this year. So I can't really explain how this all came together, but I definitely can tell you it's stranger than fiction, just like a movie that I've never seen before. Thank you.
For you too.